unite the hearts of all the friends in a request to be in bestow towards you and to reveal the heartfelt connection between us, help the friends to be in one desire in our route towards each other and keep them from any inclination away from it. We thank you for giving strength to the friends of every 10 in the whole world CLE to be worthy to pass on the light of your love and mercy to humanity. Thank you for giving us our beloved friends. Hello, we reading in the writings of Rash the article. What does it mean that one who prays should explain his words properly? You can find the study materials in the system. You can also send us questions live for our websites. Anyone asking a question in the study hall, he has to stand up, hold the microphone close to his mouth and speak loud and clear. The writings of Rash the article. What does it mean that one who prays should explain his words properly? Brings evidence that one who prays should explain his words properly through what is written about Jacob, who said, "Deliver me, I pray you." It writes, "Deliver me, I pray to you, from the hand of my brother, on the hand of Hissa. For I fear him that he might come and strike me and the mothers with the children." This implies that one who prays his prayer should explain his words properly. He said, "Deliver me, I pray to you." It seems as though it should have sufficed, since he does not need more than deliverance. Yet he said to the Creator, "Should you say that you have already delivered me from lean?" This is why he explained, "From the hand of my brother." And if you say that other king are also called brothers too, as Laban said to Jacob, "Because you are my brother, should you serve me for nothing?" He therefore explained, "From the hand of his." What is the reason? It is because we must explain the matter properly. If you say, "Why do I need deliverance?" it is because I fear that he might come and strike me. This is to explain the matter above, not obscure it. So far it words, it is very difficult to understand this when a person prays to the Creator, who knows the thoughts of. Should we interpret our words properly, or otherwise he might not know what a person needs? Rather should interpret this with respect to men, that is, the person himself should know what he needs and scrutinize every single lack separately. Person should not say in general that he is not okay and he would like to Creator to help him. The reason is that there is a rule: there is no light without a vessel, no filling without a well. It is upon man to arrange for himself all the things he needs. Deliverance from line is not like deliverance from, and so forth. You can understand this the way said about what is written concerning Laban, who said to Jacob, replied to Jacob, "The daughters my daughters, and the children and the sons are my sons, and the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine." Concerning us, when he spoke to Jacob, it is written that you said the opposite, and he said, "What is this company of yours that I have met to find favor in the eyes of my Lord?" And said, "I have plenty, my brother, let what is yours be yours." And Jacob said, "Then take my present from my hand." He said that sometimes the evil inclination dresses as Lion, who is righteous, that he is righteous and walks with a white garment. Sometimes he dresses as a saying that man has already done everything completely. There is nothing more to add, instilling in him a spirit of pride. The order is that before the work, it tells him it's not worthwhile for you to get into the work of Lishma for your sake, as this is difficult and this is not work for you. Rather, everything you do is all for me, and you cannot aim anything for the sake of the Creator. With these arguments, the evil inclination can prevent a person from engaging in truth. This is before the work, and this is the meaning of what Lon said, the daughters are my daughters. After the work, Jacob comes and tells him, now I see that you are right, meaning that all my thoughts were only for you, meaning not for her sake. Now I must ask the Creator to give me repentance, so I will have the strength to work for the sake of the Creator. Evil inclination comes and dresses as other word, doing you really did everything for the sake of the Creator, and you are a great righteous, and you are not like your friends. Then Jacob told him, then take my present from my hand, meaning he said, I have plenty, mean that all the work I did so far has been for you. But told him, let what is yours be yours, you did not work for me. Accordingly, we should explain why we need to interpret when he prays. He should explain his words properly. It means that the person himself should scrutinize the order of his work, so he will know clearly what to pray for, since sometimes a person prays for the opposite of what he needs. The prayer is the disclosure of a love within a person, because a le is called a vessel, and there is no light without a vessel. A person should pray so as to have a vessel that the Creator will fill. If there is no vessel, it is impossible to speak of the Creator feeling the lack. This is similar to what we pray in the beginning of the month prayer. May the Lord grant our hearts wishes favorably. Wishes are vessels. When there are vessels, the Creator can feel. The vessels should understand what we're saying in this prayer of the blessing of the month. May the Lord grant our hearts wishes favorably. What does it imply that we add the word favorably? Would one ask for something that is unfavorable? Understand this by what the Z says. One who prays should explain his words properly, as it is written, deliver me from the hand of my brother. Lon is also called my brother, as it is written that Lon said to Jacob, because you are my brother. This is why he clarified from the hand of, according to what Bam explained. At times the evil inclination is called Lon, at times it is called. The difference between these names relates to before the act and after the act. Before the act it is called law, after the act it is called. By this we should interpret that when a person prays for the Creator to help him, since he wants to do some good deed, but he feels that he does not have the power to overcome, he must not pray that the Creator will deliver him from a s, meaning to think about how he will do everything not for the sake of the how. He does everything not for the sake of the Creator. His is worthless, and he should ask the Creator to deliver him from his s's hands. Says his words, sorry, who says your work is in needworthy and highly regarded above, and your intention is not to work for me, meaning for the evil inclination which is now regarded as a sound. Instead, he wants the Creator to help him feel that he is doing everything not for the sake of the Creator, and that he will see the truth. Now that his work is worthless, it follows that if he really feels that his work is worthless, what will he gain by receiving such help from the Creator? You will certainly not succeed in doing anything good, since a person cannot work for a lost cause. Rather, one must see some benefit from the work. This is the meaning of what the Z says, that he should explain his words properly. It is because a person must know what he's missing so he can observe to, and for this reason his prayer should be, deliver me from the hand of Lon, from what Lon would make him see that all that you see is mine. Lon claims that all he did was for his own sake, meaning for the sake of the evil inclination. Work is worthless. At that time he prays that the Creator will give him the feeling, and that he will see that the Creator enjoys everything he does. Every little thing in spirituality is a very important matter, and we cannot appreciate its importance Then he will have the strength to work, because now he is working for a purpose, meaning that with his work he will do a great thing for the entire world. It is as is, say the son of Rimmon says, since the world is judged by its majority and the individual is judged by its majority, if he performs one, the happy is he, for he has shifted himself and the entire world to the side of merit. When he has this feeling, he certainly gets energy for work. But if he asks, deliver me from the hand of it, will be to his detriment, since there is no without a vessel. When a person prays, he should explain his words properly. What is properly? It means that his prayer should be suitable to be received, because it is to his benefit. However, after the act, one should shift to the left line, that is, he should examine and see if the work was really in utter wholeness, and check if he has more to correct, so that through the Torah and mitzvah he doing will achieve adhesion with the Creator. At that time the evil inclination dresses as a S and tells him, you have no flaw that anyone can point to. Certainly everything you do, it is all only for the Creator. This is called from the word a doing, that is, your work is considered complete work, and there is nothing to add to it. At the time comes the prayer, deliver me from the hand of my brother, since I want to have the strength to criticize and see what I really need to correct. After the ACT he asks, deliver me from the argument of Lon said that everything he did was not for the sake of the Creator, but for his own sake, which is the authority of the evil inclination. He was controlled by, meaning that he does everything for the sake of the Creator. In that case he would always remain with his flaws, because claims that he has nothing to correct. He does everything for the sake of the Creator. He will never be able to see the truth. This is why the Z says that you should explain his words properly, is one should obtain the right vessel where the right help may enter, since there is no light without a vessel. With this we can understand what we asked. What does it mean that we say that the Creator would grant our hearts wishes favorably? Would a person ask the Creator for something that is bad? Rather, it is that each prayer should be in its place. He PR that the Creator will give him the feeling, and that he will see that everything he does the Creator enjoys it. Thought that we don't ask to see that our deeds are correct, because then it is, then I get proof within reason. But here he says, come and you will see that you're actually giving contentment. It's all good. This really gives you the strength to advance. So what does he mean? El Shaddai read it. Microphone, what do you think? Think who can answer. Him deed is above reason. Here the deedin comes and says, forget about it anyway. Whatever you'll do, it's going to be for me. There's no point in even trying. After the ACT comes and says, look, you're perfect. Thought about it. You shouldn't even criticize and check. The deed will always be above reason. The ACT, it's not something that we are, so it's not just an act. Every such act is a whole world. No, someone else thinks differently or agrees. Well, that's how it is. You'll have to read it again. So again, writings of Rash. What does it mean that one who prays should explain his words properly? Brings evidence that one who prays should explain his words properly through what is written about Jacob, who said, deliver me, I pray thee. It writes, deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Osoph. I fear him that he might come and strike me and the mothers with children. This implies that one who prays his prayer should explain his words properly. He said, deliver me, I pray thee. It seems as though it should have sufficed, since he does not need more than deliverance. Yet he said to the Creator, should you say that you have already delivered me from. Lean, this is why he explained, from the hand of my brother, and if you say that other kin are called brothers too, as Laban said to Jacob, because you are my brother, should you serve me for nothing? Therefore explained from the hand of. What is the reason? It is because we must explain the matter properly. If you say, why do I need deliverance? It is because I fear that he might come and strike me. All of this is to explain the matter above and not obscure. It's very difficult to understand this when a person prays to the Creator, who knows the thoughts of men. Should we interpret our words properly, or he might not know what the person needs? Rather, we should interpret this with respect to men, that is, the person himself should know what he needs and scrutinize every single act separately. A person should not say in general that he's not okay and he would like the Creator to help him. The reason is that there is a rule: there's no light without a CLE, no filling without a lack. Hence it is upon men to arrange for himself all the things he needs. That is, deliverance from lion is not like deliverance from and so forth. We can understand this the way Bam said about what is written concerning lion, who said, Jacob replied to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks, and all that sea is mine. Concerning when he spoke to Jacob, written that said the opposite, and he said, what is this company of yours that I have met? And he said, to find favor in the eyes of my Lord. Said, I have plenty, my brother, let what is yours be yours. And Jacob said, take my present from my hand. He said that sometimes the evil inclination dresses as lion, who is righteous and walks with a white garment, and sometimes it dresses as a saw, saying that man has already done everything completely. There's nothing more to add, installing in him a spirit of bride. The order is that before the work he tells him should not get into the work off where this is difficult and no work for you. Rather, you everything you do is for me, and you cannot aim anything for the sake of the Creator. With these arguments, the evil inclination can prevent a person from engaging in truth. This is before work, and this is the meaning of what Lon said, the daughters are my daughters. But after the work, Jacob comes and tells him, now I see that you are right, meaning that all my thoughts were only for you, meaning not for her sake. That's now I must ask the Creator to give me repentance, so I will have the strength to work for the sake of the Creator. The evil inclination comes and dresses as a from the word AI, that you really did everything for the sake of the Creator, and you are great, righteous, you are not like your friends. Then Jacob told him, then take my present from my hand, meaning he said, I have plenty, meaning that all the work I did so far has been for you. Told him, let what is yours be yours, you did not work for me. Accordingly, we should explain why we need to interpret when he prays. He should explain his words properly, means that the person himself should scrutinize the order of his work, so he will clearly know what to pray for. Since sometimes a person prays for the opposite of what he needs, the prayer is the disclosure of a lack within a person, for a lack is called a CLEA vessel, and there is no light without a vessel. Hence a person should pray so as to have a vessel that the Creator will fill. There's no important, it's impossible to speak of the Creator feeling the lack. This is similar to what we pray in the beginning of the month prayer. May the Lord grant our hearts wishes favorably. Wishes are vessels. When there are vessels, the Creator then can fill the vessels. We should understand what we are saying in this prayer of the blessing of the month. May the Lord grant our hearts wishes favorably. What does it simply imply that we add the word favorably we won't ask for the unfavorable? We can understand this by what the Zohar says: one who prays should explain his words properly as it is written, deliver me from the hand of my brother. Laban is also called my brother. It is written that Laban said to Jacob, because you are my brother. This is why he clarified from the hand of. According to explained, at times the evil inclination is called Laban and at times it is called the. So the difference between these names relates to before the fact and after the fact. Before the fact it is called Laban. After the fact it is called. By this we should interpret that when a person prays for the Creator to help him since he wants to do some good deeds but feels that he does not have the power to overcome, you must not pray that the Creator will deliver him from meaning to think about how he does everything not for the sake of the Creator and that his work is worthless. You should ask the Creator to deliver him from M's words, who says your work is indeed worthy and highly regarded above, and your intention is not to work for me, meaning for the evil inclination which is not regarded as a S. Instead, he wants the Creator to help him feel that he's doing everything not for the sake of the Creator, and we see the truth that his work is worthless. Follow that if he really feels that his work is worthless, what will he gain by receiving such help from the Creator? He will certainly not succeed in doing anything good, since a person cannot work for a lost cause. Rather, one must see some benefit from the work. This is the meaning of what the Zohar says that he should explain his words properly, is because a person must know what he's missing so he can observe this reason. His prayer should be, deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of Laban, meaning from what Laban would make him see that all that you see is mine. Claims that all he did was for his own sake, for the sake of the evil inclination, and his work is worthless. At that time he prays that the Creator will give him the feeling, and that he will see that the Creator enjoys everything he does, and every little thing in spirituality is a very important matter. We cannot appreciate its importance. Then he will have the strength to work, because now he's working for a purpose, meaning that with his work he will do a great thing for the entire world. It is our sage said, Rabbi La, son of Rabbi Shimon, says, since the world is judged by its majority and the individual is judged by its majority, if he performs one mitzvah, one commandment, happy is he, for he has sent himself and the entire world the side of merit. And when he has this feeling, certainly gets energy for the work. But if he asks, deliver me from the hands of a, it will be to his detriment. There is no light without a CLE. When a person prays, he should explain his words properly. What is properly? It means that his prayer should be suitable for reception, because it is to his benefit. However, after the fact, one should shift to the left line. That is, you should examine and see if the work was really in utter completeness, and check if he has more to correct. Through the he doing will achieve adian with the Creator. At that time the evil inclination dresses as and tells him, you have no flaw that anyone can point to, since everything you do is only for the Creator. This is called from the word action. That is, your work is called complete work, and there's nothing to add to it. At that time comes the prayer, deliver me from the hand of my brother, since I want to have the strength to examine and see what I really should correct. If after the fact he asks, deliver me from the argument of Laban, who said that everything he did was not for the sake of the Creator but for his own sake, which is the authority of the evil inclination, he is controlled by, meaning he's doing everything for the sake of the Creator, in that case he would always remain with his flaws because claims that he has nothing to correct and he's doing everything for the sake of the Creator, and he would never be able to see the truth. This is why the says that should explain his words properly, that is one should obtain the right cle where the right help may enter, since there is no light without a C, and with this we will understand what we asked. What does it mean that we say that the Creator should grant our hearts' wishes favorably? Would a person ask the Creator for something bad? Rather, it is that each prayer should be in its place. D. Well, how can a person scrutinize what is he lacking right now? Maybe he himself doesn't know, or he confused about what's missing. How should a person figure out what is missing right now? But he went through certain states. He feels the environment where he is to a certain extent. So out of calculating with respect to his environment with the states that he went through, he can already say something about himself. If a person is confused by inclination and he's asking incorrectly, the Creator helps him and arranges his prayer, or he simply answers according to what he needs and according to what he asks, according to what the person asks. This is how the Creator answers. Besides that, he adds to him a few points to the person's state so that the person will advance. What does he add? A few gripping points. What are points to grip on so that the person will know more about where he is? So from the perspective of the Creator, what does it mean? A concealed prayer and a prayer that is a prayer potential, a prayer that's scrutinized. A prayer that is scrutinized means that the person can already learn the way that the Creator is clarifying it to him. A prayer in general is what a person does out of what he feels in his state. He writes that the evasion come in different garments. How to recognize it, 'cause each time it's different. How can a person recognize the new garment of devil inclination? Oh, by wanting to get closer to the Creator and a wanting to raise prayer for it. The other side, he feels how he's still in the opposite state, and this is what arranges for him the request for the next prayer. Thank you. Again, it turns out that in every stage a person will have two prayers, one before the action and one after the action. Before the action, person should understand that he needs to ask the Creator to succeed in doing this action for the Creator and not for himself, even though the evil inclination is telling him, relax, everything is fine, you have no need to exert. Yes, and after the act and need to say everything I've done was for the sake of the Creator. I want to get nothing. So a few things come up here. If inclination, people listen to him, he is aiming a person in the right direction. If he understands how the evil inclination is playing with him, yes, so why is he called foul inclination? Because it pulls the person to the opposite direction, right? But if a person is already on the path, is studying, let's say he understands the work, how he needs to work, so the evil inclination is no longer the evil inclination, it's help against, as we call it. So help against is the evil inclination, not sure how to ask it. Can we have enough awareness of this help against so we know how to work correctly all the time? What gives a person the understanding how to work properly? Because he describes it like an algorithm. This article, it's very methodical, very organized, but that's not how we see things all the time. We constantly get lost in these twists and terms of evil inclination. What will give a person ability to stand and say, oh, now I understand where I am, but I need to ask for you. Always say the society, but it's as if the society is not mentioned how to reach this good result in the and every moment I know how to do the work in the other direction. Does anyone have an answer? Ken. Yeah, everything he says here in the article is when a person wants to do something good, a good deed, how we're to do this good if not. In that's what he's talking about, but beforehand this the intention, what to do for myself or not, and the ego was pushing me to connected the T, so after I've done and connected comes and wants to show that everything is fine and good and I'm in wholeness. I think this is what the article is about. Well, maybe I don't see that anyone else wants to add. K. Gillard. Yes, Gillard, that this is the fourth time that I've been reading it, 3 times yesterday and now another time. It's unbelievable. Think the matter here is the prayer. That's the main thing, the prayer before the action and the prayer after the action. An evil inclination always pulls a person in the opposite direction. As he's pulling in the opposite direction before the action, he says, forget about it, you're not going to. In the end, everything's for me, all the benefits are for me and the person prays to see where he can do, to ask for the power from the Creator to do, and after the action the opposite. He said, oh, you've done it, it's all good. Person said, no, the goal is to reach giving contentment to the Creator, not just to say that I've done something. That's what he's asking, have the power. I think the article focuses on how to turn to the Creator properly and ask for the right request in every state, and here the evil inclination is showing him the opposite of what he needs to do. What does it mean to explain his words properly? Exactly, to understand what the evil inclination wants from him, to go the opposite direction, otherwise it will be a theoretical request, not a true request. He's showing him exactly where to ask, or anyone else. He, properly as I understand, it's not to raise a precise prayer, to ask properly, to ask for his prayer to be received, not that I should say a BCD, rather properly meaning that it should be accepted, simply mean that it will be accepted. I want my prayer to be received, accepted by the Creator, but I don't have to say it in a certain order. I never know the exact order. I just asked the Creator to receive my prayer, for it to be worthy to be accepted by him, and that he will arrange it. Yeah, he will do everything. He will do everything. Okay. It turns out that to interpret his words properly is not about the deficiency but about the adhesion. So what's the point this game of life? Because if I understand after this entire roundabout, we have to call to the Creator and be there in adhesion, that we scrutinize these conditions for adhesion with the Creator, that deficiency from which I started this process, simply infrastructure for reaching adhesion. It's not interesting in of itself. It's not what the story is about. Is it correct to look at it this way? Possible a totally different view on life or reality, on what's happening with us? Yes, no. Well, that's it. Oh, we have more here. Yes, I didn't get an answer. Wait, maybe you'll hear it later. And you have another friend here, at least as far as I'm concerned, even though the main part is after that action. The fact is the fact that we always add on the right, and we want to raise the importance of the society. But how together with that we have to live with a fear of the sin of whose, which is in our essence, and have to ask and pray for that as well. I think in my eyes that's the innovation in this article. Okay, fine, let's see. For hello dear Rock, question from the 10. To continue. D. How can a person determine the friend's spiritual deficiency, then spiritual needs of the friend? Yes, what he feels within himself, maybe. This is how he can say that the friend has the same kind of deficiency However, it is greater. Not sure how can I say about the friend. What kind of deficiency the friend has. What kind of deficiency to charge the friend to the scale of merit to the side of merit that is something else. Turkey 1 Turkey 1. Good 4. Good morning. Well, should the prayer be above reason? The prayer should be above reason. Yes, the prayer should be entirely in order to bestow, in order to advance and enter. Lishma. Human. Morning, friends, if I understand correctly. Laban says, yes, I lack everything, but I don't need you. On the other hand, is saying, I'm happy in my lot. I have everything I need. I don't need to do anything to attain a deficiency. Yes. Understand then. Matlin says, I don't need you, and that's why he doesn't have a need for the Creator. Says, I don't need the Creator because I have everything I need, so both of them don't need the Creator. Exactly. The evil inclination pushes you away from the Creator. Person, how should he arrange his deficiency during these two states? A good question. It's a good question. Says C. Says, here is the difference is don't believe in what you see. What you hear own can't hear you well. What's with your microphone? Says C. Daughters, they're mine, and the S says here. Listen, they say they have eyes but don't hear, ears and eyes but don't see, ears and don't hear. Says C. Says, listen, he's asking if there's any connection between. Yes, these are different vessels. Yes. He talks about it a little bit. The author is a correct choice between one of them. Can you hear him? Fix your microphone, then try again. Can't really scrutinize things this way. Process of the scrutiny has to pos the destination, and the point of departure. The destination is adhesion, and the point of departure is cognition of evil. If I don't incriminate myself based on something I found in me that prevents me from reaching adhesion, I have nothing to pray for. The prayer is incorrect. Okay, fine. Ken. Yes, is argument. How do you deal with it? Our obligation to demand LMA before the action, or is it correct to say I'll do it in Lishma because from will come to Lishma? This depends on the state that you're in and what you're capable of. The question is person is sounds impus. I don't understand quite. Lon, where there's this righteous person who can reach the Shema and I never get there. He wants to disbar me. Is this the idea behind Lon? Anyone understand what he's asking? Question is, why is it Lon? Where is his name? Lonis, and the white is an ideal of sorts, and you are not in it. You're not going to reach it. Is that the idea? Yes, he says here that a person has to scrutinize the order of the work so he'll know clearly what to pray for. Since a person is praying for the opposite of what he needs, so how does it happen? What does it mean to pray for something that is opposite to you? How do I raise that? How do you pray for something that you lack? No, he says here a person himself needs to scrutinize the order of his work so he'll know clearly what to pray for. Because sometimes a person prays for the opposite of what he's lacking. I'm asking our work in the 10 to work in connection, from the connection to the demand to the prayer. So how does it work that I eventually pray for something that I don't lack for the opposite? How can you pray for something that you don't lack? That's what I'm asking, how to do the correct scrutiny. He says that there are state here. A person makes the wrong scrutinies and he prays for the opposite of what he needs. Fact that you hurt the environment, then you get deficiencies from them, and then you pray for those deficiencies, not for the deficiency that you had to begin with. So the order of the work is, when I receive these scrutinies of Lon, or I always have to ignore them, go above reason, go for connection, and pray for what's in the center here and not what appears to me in my reality. Actually, this is the solution. Well, let's move on to the next part. Before we get the next part, we'll sing a song behind the curtains of the story, told behind the faces of the meek and bold, above the good and be the right and wrong. There's hope for a brighter dawn. We've learned to breathe without a breath of air. We've learned to run on roads that lead no way. Now is the time for us to rise above and learn what it is to love. We open our hearts together. We will fight and we'll see that love can cover all the crimes. Open our hearts together. We will find and we'll see how love will cover all the beyond the border. There's a song that play, and in our hands we have a choice that use together, rising high above these pieces and see the world through your eyes. In every moment there's a chance to see another vision of what we could be behind the colors of the shattered heart, the color of unity. We open our hearts together. We will find and we'll see that love you cover all the CR. Open our hearts together. We will find, then we'll see how love we cover all the ground. We're reading in the study of the TU. Wrote second volume part 6. We are in item 20, the words of the yes it. 20. The thing is that in this man it has been explained that the light of the own expended to she and the lights have passed through there as well. Light of there is extended through there. It must mix with them and take their light. Are the first three among them. They take light from what is extended from the look of the E in the from their place to the place where they connect to the shack. They receive them only in shaken, because that is where they begin and not from what is in. However, the seven lower take only what is extended from the look in the lights of the from downward. It is known that reaches the and to feed not from upward. Again, item 20. Thing is that in this manner it has been explained that the light of the only expanded to and the lights have passed through there as well. Hence, when the light of the is extended through there, it must mix with them and take their light. There are the first three among them. There are 10. The first three among them take light from what is extended from the look of the inner from their place, the place where they connect to. They receive them only in, because that is where they begin, not from what is and above. However, the lower 7 take only what is ended from the look in the eyes of the downward. It is known that reaches to the and not from upward. In a light item 20, the light of the is extended from there. It must mix with them and take their light. As said about the forces in the upper one are necessarily enforced in the lower one. It is written hence, when the light of the of AR is extended there, it must mix with them and take their light. This means that the that receive the light of the it necessarily passes through the light of the must take their light, because it will operate in the order of their vessels and will be divided to the same 3 phases that exist in the then it will pass them to the phase of the vessels of 9. You should also remember that any upper one is discerned as an emanator to the lower one and as the cause of the lower one accordingly, though the DNA are discerned as an the first 3 among them. They take light from what is extended from the look of the herb from their place to the place where they connect to Shek. You already know that 3 phases are discerned in each pairto that is extended from the light of the R phase of R, and goof discerned in the T of the itself, which are gull and to the R and to the goof. The 3rd phase is the goof itself, called the 7LS of US, has been explained in the previous item regarding the divided by the exact same way the first phase, of which is the phase of Galil and a in, them meaning the of, the is, called is, sa, place is above the tab until, the says about, it all the light extended until the tab, although it is from the phase, of it is all swallowed and incorporated, in ain hence it is, indistinguishable not that the, emphasizes, that even though it is from the face, of it is still, considered and, not the reason for this is that the, coarseness in the, screen is completely, inactive when it works from above, downwards since, this is discerned as the actual, meaning, and where the screen on the joint Hess, from phase 2 and phase 4 stands, below in the Nike of your, suit which is the place of the point of, tabor, therefore no distinction of the, association with phase, for extended from the light of the, operates in, it this is the reason it is considered, the phase of aim like the sag where only, phase 2 is, apparent there is no and it has no, distinction of the cos of, Nicodim it is written that it is, swallowed and incorporated in hence it, is, indistinguishable that's the first phase, of has been, explained, called, and it is included, in the second phase, of is the phase, of that exit the, are and are considered its, goose since they receive and, cl the, light that is extended from, nick as in phase 2 of the of, thick place of the accumulation of the, lights, of place of their, exit remember and understand these, external, AAP for in fact they are earth, regionally and of, the joined with, the that are in the, first just because they received the, light of, the they exited the and became, goof hence they are called the second in, relation, to which is called the, first this, second is the ophic called, ophic however the first which is, considered a and, not as the says, above the third phase of Nikim is the, actual goof of, Nikim, meaning below the like the previous in the, of they are called the 7 lower, of like the corrections, of the which are below, and are extended through the upper area of DNA extends, through the, K and the lower area of DNA extends, through the, tab this is so because they are, discerned as the 7 lower, of the which are that contains, 6 and is the, 7th the upper area, of, is extending from the, of for this reason it ends at, the because the place of, is, from the lower area of is, mal whose vessel is from the to the, tab it ends at the, tab it is, likewise with the 7 lower, of which, are that contains, 6 and the mal is the, 7th it is written the first 3, among them they take light from what is, extended from the look of, the from their place to the place where, they connect, to, it explains, that of are discerned as of that come out, from the they become vessels of, reception for light that descends from, above downward from nick of the first, light that receives from the phase of, nick of the first, of, these are in their place meaning the, 3 upper corrections of DNA that hang, on the bone of the above the, pin these are the 2, straights of the DNA on the right and on, the left below the ear and the hair of, the upper lip above the mouth, on the right and on the left and the, path without hair in the middle the, upper, lip these 3 are called in their, place meaning they are above the, he that in them is still regarded from, below, upward as the upper, cheek and they are the phase of, she the screen in the as discerned as the, upper, lip connected to the lower lip is, already discerned as the, goof though from the phase, of that went out from, that it is known that the entire amount, of light that is in of the descends, and is imparted to the goof it turns out, that all the lights of the 3 upper, corrections of the beard feed as a in. There. Place descend and are. Imparted and connect. To. This is why he says that all the lights of the are extended in their place. Through. The. Conic. Also the are from. It remember these words for the rest of. The words of. The have a couple more paragraphs. Continue. They receive them only. In because that is where they begin. It is already been explained elaborately that the are not the actual phase of the, rather they are considered the second, are which are discerned as a that exit the first and are discerned as. It is written because that is where they begin and not what is in and above. This is so, because is the phase of the first of receive from there but not the, which have no grip therefore. They are have the value of the phase of. Goof the seven lower take only what is extended from the look in the lights of. From downward it has been explained that the seven are the actual phase of the, of meaning the above third face, hence they receive from below, meaning from the two areas of the through, the and through the t discerned as the seven lower. That's it up to here. No. Well, I see there's someone back there in the, and so we actually read how there is made that's right. Not so, it's not clear. It says there's from the, so which one are we talking about? That's the world of, but is a different. Okay, can you explain what we're talking about? That it'll be more or less clear in words that we know better. Yes, s there's sag, there's s, and there's a part of sag that is called the world of Nick, and these three seemingly exist part of one another. We read about the world Ophic, yes, and to where does it expand compared to the Tobo that we know of? It expands below the, so why does he write that the goof is from the t? So what tab is it is talking about? And that is actually what is that is actually compared to the world of Nikim, does not belong to the world of Nikim, emerges from the Nick of S and expands below that. Yeah, but it's an external, yes, so compared to, and we somehow add to cloth on. So what's the Tobo of the world? Ophic. What does he want and where is what he's want written? He wants to understand what are the that we just read about compared to the is. Well, the world of Nicodim begins below that. Where is the beginning of this matter? You read 20. The light of extended through there and expanded in them. The in them is taken from the place that they connected in the place of the. Yes, that's where all the lights connect, although they receive them only in the, and that's where they begin. The lower 7 points, they're not taken from where it extends from the looking of the lights of and down. If you want, we will have to read again all the text. No. Well, in light or to start from, maybe we'll continue. And it turns out that before that the 3 take the illumination for their vessels from the 3 lights that are ob in the sheet. Specifically the lower 7 only take from the 2 lights only which are and from and down all the way to feed, because the light of the upper and it was completed in the and, therefore it is greater the illumination of the 3 upper the lower 7 this the rights, and we can read it below. Maybe you should read it. I just don't know. We still have time for this part. Yes, in a light for 21 the light of the ozone has already ended and was blocked at 3 vessels are discerned from up, made by the departure of the lights in the departure of the light of Mal to Z, the vessel of Mal from the to the was made, and when the of departed the vessel from was made, when the light of B departed the vessel of B in the place of Shek was made. It therefore turns out that the light of Bina ends in the place of the Shit, since she does not have a vessel. Below the light of ends. At and the light of mal at. This is why it is written that the light of the app own ended and was blocked. At there is yet another reason for the blocking of the light of own in the place of shaped and are one and the same, and both were made from the force of restriction of n and the ascent of the lower hater. Since the AAP went out into the phase of the goof and consequently phase of P descended and became the phase of tab where the parser was installed. The difference is that the P was regionally of and descended to the phase of only because it received the light of the, whereas the is in the place of the original tab, which was the phase of T also in fine preceding the light of. Though it turns out that just as there is a pal in the original tobo of the general above it which are Z, there is a polo above the mole which are discerned as and zone of the upper area is and the lower area is mal, and both together are called mal. This power above the ma is sh. It follows that as the polar ends the sag and stops above the ends the light often which is discerned as s in that it does not shine below the sh but only of the which are merely zone as in the of the general. Hence the light of the upper ozone is block that in such a way that there is no illumination of God there, namely light of O, but only the without G, namely only the f. And well 22 starts here. So why did he write this above? Okay, so next, yes, there's a principle here that appeared in inner light of item 20. He says you know that 3 phases are in every that extend the light of 2 phases of goof or the T of the itself, and the 3rd phase is the actual goof. So I wanted to ask about that structure of 2 is divided into an goof and then the actual goof come. Yes, so that is divided within the what does it mean that the divides into of goof wherever the light of can expand the G, so the lower part of those the goop. Yes, what does it do? It has lights in the and therefore it expands to the goof. What's its duty? The simple role of the it's the first 3, the relation, the attitude of the creator towards the created being, where the created being reveals is called the of the created being. This relation leads him to calculate, yes, and then to work in its goof. Yes, so the role of the is to learn the creator's attitude towards me, to calculate like he does, and then to work in my goof. Yes, that's in general. Yes, now specifically when it is divided into 2 parts and goof in the of the light of a that is already in order to function. So what is the new innovation here? What's new here is that the needs or must arrange the goof of the how it responds to that which he gets to know the creator and how he now wants to resemble him. That's the role of all the in general. That's always right. What you said right, that's what they do. They learn how the creator relates and they want to do the same thing. Yes, but where it's capable. So now after the 2nd restriction there are come out with a more complex structure that itself is divided into 2 parts and the goof of the yes. What does that lower part, the goof of the what does it do? It's like a new invention that never appeared right till now. There was only and suddenly the R is divided into 2 parts of the lower part of the goof of the what does it add essentially that wasn't there before and create. It's like a new feature. What happens here? It becomes as the goof for the argola. That's it, goof of our what is here. We have a new matter that divides into 2 of the goof and of the, and we have from here onwards already. This is what he's telling us here in the no. Again, I am not quite. We now have a that is divided into 2 parts. Yes, and yes, afterwards the goof itself will, come yes every part in the of the, and the goof of the what are there, rolls the goof of the no of the goof or, of the belongs to the, whole what is go, of the goof of the is one that observes, the, commands the actual, goof and the actual goof belongs to, this, in so it's like an adapter between the, to the goof yes so what does he do he, didn't, what is he renewing it wasn't there, before prior to that you didn't have the, second restriction there are many, additional things here specifically due, to the, weakness so what is it adding because of, the weakness what is the innovation in, because of the weakness and what does it, allow, it adds to the goof the, ability to nevertheless remain some, connected to, the with thanks to, what thanks, to thanks to giving the goof the feeling, of in what manner it is lesser than, the and the, goof how should we say, it you don't find it there, and the goof finds, therein, the wants to find in the are the parts, that can, now for it in the current, state is it a weak state you said, weakness yes of, course so this addition what it, compensates the weak, it divides between the parts that can be, connected and can't be, connected in the current, state and then they can seemingly remain, somewhat connected to, the so that's the addition of holiness, that you're scrutinizing and what even, though there's a weakness I can still be, connected to the I yes thank, you, okay all right where are, we there's something here maybe this is what you meant in 20 in our, light he writes that the second phase, of is the that comes out of the an are, considered its, goof be the receivers and the ones, clothing the light extended from, Nick as in the second phase offer called, which is the place that the lights, gather instead of their exit remember, this, external to begin, with and by adding, of the, first but only because of them receiving, the light of the they came out of the, and, became hence they are called the second, are to you're called the first, or what else do we need to do? Today, we have the introduction to the book let's do it we'll go to the next, part of the lesson, we're reading from the writings, of the introduction to the book, yes introduction to the book item, 1 it is written at the end, of the Creator did not find a vessel, that holds a blessing for Israel but, peace as it is written the Lord will, give strength unto his people the Lord will bless his people, with, peace there's a lot to learn here first, how do they prove that nothing is better, for Israel than, peace, second the text explicitly states that, peace is the blessing, itself as it is written giving in, strength and blessing in, peace according to them, it should have stated giving in peace. Third, why was this phrase written for? The conclusion of the Mishnah also we need to understand the meaning of the words peace, strength and what they mean to interpret this article and its true meaning we must go by a long way. The heart of sirs is too deep to search the author of correctly interpreted the words of our sages about the verse support me with raisin, cakes is laws cushion me with apples is, sayings our sages said all the issues of the Torah and the commandment be revealed and concealed as it is written apples of gold in settings of silver word fitly spoken, indeed are like grills of wine when one give one's friend they gift a silver grail with wine both the insides and outside are important because the grail has its own value like the wine inside. It the legends however are as apples, whose interior is eaten and their exterior is thrown away as the exterior is completely worthless. You find that all the worth and importance are only in the interior, the insides. So is the matter with legends. The apparent superficially seems meaningless and worthless, however the inner Content concealed build in the words is built solely on the book of the wisdom of truth given to virtuous few thus far his words with slight changes who would there extract it from the heart of the masses and scrutinize their ways when their attainment is incomplete in both parts of the talk called literal and interpretation. In their view, the order of the four parts of the Torah begins with then, and in the end. The secret is understood. However, it is written in the Vipra book that the Tain begins with the S. After the S part of the Torah is attained, it is possible to attain the and. The when one is granted the complete knowledge of these three parts of the Ta, one is awarded the attainment of the. It is written in, if one is rewarded, it becomes a potion of life to him. If he is not rewarded, it becomes a potion of death to him. Great merit is required in order to understand feet of the text, since first we must attain the three parts of the internality of the which, the robes, and the will not. If one has not been rewarded with it, one needs great mercy so it will not become a potion of death for him. It is opposite with the argument of the negligent in attaining the internality, who say to themselves, we settle for attaining the chat. If we attain that, we will be content. Their words can be compared to one who wishes to step on the fourth step without first stepping on the first 3 steps. Is it understood thus far? It's probably understood. No one's asking, or maybe they're shy. Okay. 2. However, accordingly, we need to understand the great concealing applied in the interior of the Torah, as it is said, in one does not learn in pairs, and not the alone. All the books at our disposal in this trade are sealed and blocked before the eyes of the masses. Only the few who are summoned by the Creator shall understand them, as they already understand the roots by themselves and in reception from mouth to mouth. Is indeed surprising how the ways of wisdom and intelligence are denied of the people for whom it is their life and the length of their days. It is seemingly a criminal offense, as about such our sages said in about that he was called a meaning held in Hebrew, for he seized synagogues and seminar, and this was his great iniquity. Also it is a natural law that one is possessive concerning dispensing one's capital and property to others. However, is there anyone who is possessive concerning dispensing one's wisdom and intelligence to others? Contrary, more than a calf wants to eat, the cow wants to feed, especially when it comes to the law of the Creator and his wish. Indeed, we find such mysteries in the wisdom, even in secular sages in previous generations. In Rail's introduction to his commentary, the Book of Creation, there's a text ascribed to Plato, who warns his disciples as follows: do not convey the wisdom unto one who knows not its merit. Aristotle to warn: do not convey the wisdom to the unworthy, lest it shall be robbed. And he interprets that if a sage teaches wisdom to the unworthy, he robs the wisdom and destroys it. The secular sages of our time do not do so. On the contrary, they exert in expanding the gates of their city to the entire crowd without any boundaries or conditions. Singly, they strongly disagree with the first sages, who opened the doors of their wisdom to only a handful of virtuous few, which they had found worthy, leaving the rest of the people fumbling the walls. Okay, it's written pretty smoothly, so keep going. What the matter of passing the wisdom or giving the wisdom? What is that process from the one who's delivering it, giving it, and the one that's receiving it? What are the conditions for passing on the wisdom? If you talk about it now, I don't know how long it's going to take. You keep it brief. It means to be an Equivalence of form from the one that you want to take. This wisdom from equivalence of form in what way, in which vessels, what are vessels, desires, intentions, thoughts, qualities. You said desires, intentions, qualities, thoughts, as much as possible to be in equivalence of form depends who you want to be adhered to, who you are, who he is. Can you explain the matter of the vessels and their equivalence? We'll talk about it also. From here it'll be more clear to us the wisdom of equivalence in what vessels do they need to be in order to receive to the one who's passing it to us in those same spiritual vessels, and somewhat at least from the one bestowing equivalence to spiritual vessels. Of course, what else would you want to receive? What are spiritual vessels? Spiritual vessels is called that you are given the secret of reception of the light. You said previously thoughts, desires, qualities. What does he have to be equal to if he wants to receive those? Depends which degree and what conditions we're talking about. And the external wisdom, the external wisdom, you only need minds for that, meaning only to understand its ways of knowledge. Why isn't the intellect enough to acquire the wisdom of? Well, that's clear, because here you need to receive from your teacher. I can't concentrate. You need to receive from your teacher the stages of attainment. So here we see explains that the order is the first. It starts from the so he explains, I understand. Why isn't that enough to have the mind to acquire this wisdom? How can it be enough if you can't fill your brain with the wise of what do mean a lot of? We just read the test and then before that from explaining such a logical, clear, understood way in a process. That's how we have to ask, and that's how we have to do, and this rises to this and this goes down to that. Here we're speaking about the path of knowledge, but that's not the way of attainment. So why are the ways of knowledge not good enough for us here? It's not good enough because we won't attain anything by it. We want to know. We need to know the actual deeds from their essence. First of all, what is missing on the ways of other intellectual studying in order to understand it and attain it? Attainment, which are vessels, completely different vessels. It's not intellect. It's not according to your head. It's according to your heart. So why did they write so much intellectual explanations? And so because they wanted to bring this godly wisdom as close as possible to the corporal person. And does my mind help me here to come closer to the godly? Yes, it helps. What? By understanding that by the knowledge, by the connection with your friends, you will be able to attain something of spirituality that in the end it will help you understand the upper force. Thank you. Of yes, David. What's this matter of needing to receive the wisdom from another person? After all, the soul of a man will teach one, and all that he is in my heart. And he's supposed to receive all of this naturally and directly from the upper force. So what's the wisdom that moves from a RAB to a student? What's that wisdom that you talked about? That is talking about it moving from one to the other. He can get the Torah straight from the Creator. He must be adhere to someone who passes the wisdom to him corporally, and then through this wisdom he can connect also to his spirituality of that source, meaning he receives from the some form of a mold or a form. Can you give us a little bit more of a feeling of what you received from the compared to what is filled from the Creator? Later from the he receives the corporal vessels that help him connect to spiritual vessels of the love, and afterwards to the vessels of spiritual discernments Okay, that's interesting, but what does that mean that one's soul will teach one? That through his soul, through that light that he receives in him, from that he learns about his inner vessels, we in our form of study, who is the R that's teaching us. And the question is whether we need seemingly receive the wisdom in such a way. Everybody has to receive the wisdom in such a method. It has nothing to do with the student being a genius. These are the forms that the wisdom is passed from generation to generation, or degree to degree. What's the connection between receiving the wisdom in such a way to the spiritual development we needs to attain? Let's say the attainment of connection and adhesion in the Creator. Is it for this do we need to attain the wisdom through the Rav, the reception of this wisdom through the Rav? As much as I understand, yes, thank you very much, it's a must to receive the wisdom through a teacher. I don't know, I'm not saying how much of it and to which extent, but it has to be this way. What does it mean to develop a deficiency for the wisdom? Develop a deficiency for the wisdom, that a person is concerned that he will constantly have a lack in attainment of the wisdom in more and more exalted degrees, specifically in the connection with the friends. There's a feeling that is very really not aimed towards the lack of wisdom. Where can you combine it in the connection with the friends to open more a deficiency for the wisdom? We'll talk about it, but just understand that without connecting one man to his friends, we will not be able to receive the degrees of the wisdom. Okay, how does it happen? How does a person attain first the secret, and only then feet comes to him the simple form of it? Just as a person develops from the street vegetative animal in speaking in this way, he attains the wisdom on degrees that resemble the still vegetative and speaking. That's parallel one to the other. This general package is it something that a person needs to attain in general, whatever belongs to his soul. Each one has his own part in the original soul. Where are we? Let me explain the matter. We distinguish four divisions in the speaking species, arranged in gradations, one at top, the other. Those are the masses, the strong, the wealthy, and the skills. They are equal to the 4 degrees in the whole of reality, called still, vegetative, animate, and speaking. The still can induce the 3 properties, vegetative, animate, and speaking, and we discern 3 values in the quality of the force from the beneficial and detrimental in them. The smallest force among them is the vegetative. The flora operates by attracting what is beneficial to it and rejecting the harmful in much the same way as humans and animals do. However, there is no individual sensation in it, but a collective force common to all types of plants in the world, which affects this operation in them. Atop them is the animate. Each creature feels itself concerning attracting what is beneficial to it and rejecting the harmful. It follows that one animal equalizes in value to all the plants in reality. It is so because the force that distinguishes the beneficial from the detrimental in the entire vegetative is found in one creature, in the animate, separated to its own authority. This sensing force in the animate is very limited in time and place, since the sensation does not operate at even the shortest distance outside its body. Also, it does not feel anything outside its own time, meaning in the past or in the future, but only at the present moment. Them is the speaking, consisting of a feeling force and an intellectual force. Together, this reason its power is unlimited by time or place in attracting what is good for it and rejecting what is harmful to it, like the this is because this is so because of its science, which is a spiritual matter unlimited by time and place, and one can learn about others wherever they are in the whole of reality and in the past and future throughout the generations. Follows that the value of one person from the speaking equalizes with the value of all the forces in the vegetative and animate in the whole of reality at that time and in all the past generations. This because its own power encompasses them and contains them within its own self, along with all their forces. This rule also applies to the four divisions in the human species, namely the masses, the strong, the wealthy, and the scarce. Certainly they all come from the masses, which are the first degree, as it is written, all are from the dust. It is certain that the whole merit of the dust and its very right to exist are according to the merit of the three virtues, it, this vegetative, animate, and speaking. Also the merit of the masses corresponds to the properties they use from them, fate to connect in the shape of a human face. For this purpose the Creator installed three inclinations in the masses called envy, lust, and honor. Due to them the masses developed degree by degree to induce a face of a whole man. The inclination for lust induces the wealthy. The selected among them have a strong desire, and also lust. They excel in acquiring wealth, which is the first degree in the evolution of the masses. Like the vegetative degree, in reality they are governed by an alien force that deviates them to their inclination, as lust is an alien force in the human species borrowed from the animate. The inclination for honor, it ushers the famous heroes from among them who govern the synagogues, the town, etc., the most firm-willed among them, which also have an inclination for honor, excel in attaining dominion. These are the second degree in the evolution of the masses, similar to the animate degree in reality, whose operating force is present in their own essence. As we have said above, this is because the inclination of honor is unique to the human species, and along with it the craving for governance, as it is written, you have put all things under his feet. The inclination for any elicits the sages from among them, as our sages said authors, envy increases wisdom. The strong-willed with an inclination for envy excel in acquiring wisdom and knowledge. It is like the speaking degree in reality, in which the operating force is not limited by time or place, but is collective and encompasses every item in the world throughout all times. Also it is the nature of the fire to envy to be general, of envy to be general, encompassing all times and the whole reality. This is because it is the conduct of envy. If one had not seen the object in one's friend's possession, the desire for it would not have awakened in one at all. You find that the sensation of absence is not for what one does not have, but for what one's friends have, who are the entire progeny of Adam and Eve. Throughout the generations this force is unlimited, and therefore fit for its sublime and elated row. Yet those who remain without any merit, it is because they do not have a strong desire. Hence all three above mentioned inclinations operate in them together in mixture. Sometimes they are lustful, sometimes envious, and sometimes they crave honor. Their desire breaks to pieces, and they are like children who crave everything they see and cannot attain anything. Hence their value is like the straw and bran that remain after the flower. It is known that the beneficial force and the detrimental force go hand in other words, as much as one is as much as sometimes something can benefit, so it can harm. Hence, since the force of one person is greater than all the beasts and animals of all times one's harmful force supers it them all as well, as long as one does not merit one's degree in a way that one uses one's force only to do good. One needs a careful watch so he does not acquire great amounts of the human level, which are wisdom and science. For this reason the first sages hid the wisdom from the masses for fear of taking indecent disciples who would use the power of the wisdom to harm and damage. These would break and destroy the entire world with their lust and beastly savageness, using man's great powers. Okay, let's stop here. All right. Good, he writes beautifully. What else do we have? Basically concluding, yeah, but is life over or what? We have announcements on our schedule today. Our schedule for today, Monday at noon Israel time, the afternoon lesson, and